Hi, happy Friday. Let me wait for someone to join in. How is everyone doing? Hopefully some people join. I announced I was going to have this live today. So hopefully somebody joins in. Looking at my laptop. I always do this during the live. I'm going to try to look up more. Reading. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes. Hopefully, if anyone joins the live, just put in the chat if you can hear me okay. I always worry about the audio. So just let me know. How is everyone doing? Happy Friday. Hi. Hi, Jessica. I can't wait to learn how to make my own skincare. Me too. We're all learning every day. So it's always nice to catch up. We always have a good time when we do the lives, I think. So happy Friday, everyone. So hope everyone had a great week. Yay. Okay, I'm going to say Paul. Kutian, Paul. Okay, awesome. Hey, Jessica. Hopefully you guys had a great week. It's Friday. Most people are probably at the movie theater trying to watch their movies or something. Anyways, so I'm just going to jump right in. I have, so if you've never joined the live, usually people you can post your questions. I just chat. I have some topics that I'm going to go over. I have my little notebook here. So as I chat and I see the questions, then I'll answer them. But thank you guys for joining in. I thought it was just going to be me, and then I'll just, so it's nice to have you guys. So I think I've had a bunch of new subscribers, honestly. And I took a break. I haven't posted a new video. I usually post videos on Sunday. And I took a break. I think probably the last 3 weeks I haven't posted anything. And the reason being, the last couple of videos I posted, most of the people watching the videos were not my subscribers. So that really threw me off. Actually, maybe if I have a video that has maybe, let's just say 1,000 views, out of 1,000 views, maybe 100 views are from subscriptions. So it made me kind of wait a little bit because I had all these videos I had filmed based on requests that I had gotten. So I was like, if I post those videos, really the people that are subscribed are not really watching. So why am I going to put all my energy to that? So I'm more or less looking at the algorithm now, what it's suggesting for me to post. And people seem to be obsessed with my body butter videos and body washes. So probably that's what I'm going to do the next couple of videos. But some question I have gotten, a lot of questions this week has been about body butter, preserving body butters. I'm not really sure why, but this week I probably got like maybe 20, 30 questions on how can I preserve my body butter. So just in case, I think Jessica said, I can't wait to learn how to make my own skincare. Just in case you're like totally new to making skincare, like maybe you've really not made much, maybe you've just done some really simple DIYs, YouTube DIYs, I honestly will suggest learning about ingredients because that will really save you time, money, so you're not wasting your money on ingredients you don't need. That's what I suggest. Every live that I do, I always have it in the description box. I have the main formulating resources that I've used and I like. So the main formulating blog, I say this every time, you cannot go wrong with, I'm going to see if I can type it here. Hang on, guys. You cannot go wrong with Swift Craft Monkey blog. It's a long name. So if you can go to that blog, it's like you can pay, I think the lowest level I think is $3. I'm not sure. $3, I think. Once you pay, you have access to, there's a section for newbies. It says beginners, start here. There's a little test you do. And there's so much information. The lady that runs the blog, I talk about her all the time. I really should start getting compensation as much as I talk about Susan, because I mean, I don't get anything from sharing her information, but there's so much stuff. I probably read something on her blog every other day that I've never heard of. Like, I'm like, wow. So start from there. That's the point I'm making. Go to Swiftcraft Monkey blog, pay the subscription. I think the lowest is $3. I think it goes up to 10. I mean, the $10 level, but you really don't need that, honestly. Kimari said my skin looks great. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Honestly, I think it honestly is just genetics, to be honest, but thank you. Thank you so much. So start from there. But back to body butter. Someone said, Miss Von 2S, thanks for hosting this video. I'm already making my own body butter and now I'm ready to learn how to make more natural items. Okay. I'll make a lot of faces. That's good. So since you're already making body butter, that's good. So if you've never heard of the blog, I just typed a Swiftcraft Monkey blog. Go to and it's even, I think I linked it in the description box. I think. Just sign up there. I don't think I did, but just go on Google and just type Swiftcraft Monkey blog. I'll go and link it once I'm done with the live. I say start from there. The lady that runs the blog, she's really not all about natural skincare. But I think a lot of times everyone wants to make natural skincare products, but there's a lot that goes into it. So definitely start from there. But back to the body butter preservatives. To be honest, I do not use any type of preservatives in my body butter. I've never had to. I only use the plant butters, the oils, vitamin E, my essential oil, fragrance oil. I've never used preservatives. You honestly do not need preservatives. Now, if you want to add preservatives, you can. You would have to use preservatives that are compatible with oil-based ingredients. So you would need an oil. So if you want to use a preservative, you would need, in your body butter, you would need an oil-soluble preservative. But the reality is I've made body butters I did an experiment where I was testing. I had body butters I started off with in 2020. Body butters I made in 2021. My largest batch that I made, I kept two of the containers from 2021 that I kept to test. That body butter, I did a demo on TikTok, I think 2 months back. It smells fresh, smells the same. There was nothing wrong with it. So because the thing is, body butter is made mostly of oils and plant butters. So there's no water that's added. But some people say if you're dipping your wet hands in body butter, it can get bad. The reality is the amount of water that is introduced into your body butter with just your damp hands is really not enough to make it go bad. It's only going to go bad quicker if you use oils that are getting expired. I would always say make sure you're using pure vitamin E, like the vitamin E that is going to, for cosmetic grade, the one that's the T50. I'm going to type it. The T50 specifically is to help extend the shelf life of your, prevent your oils from going rancid quicker. So if you use good vitamin E, use fresh oils, use fresh butters, it's not going to go bad. So you really don't need a preservative, but if you decide to use one, just look for an oil-soluble preservative. I'm not really going to go into that because I've talked my head off about preservatives. I've linked the books and preservatives in the description box, and I also have the preservative videos I don't know if I talked about oil-soluble preservatives, but you can always do some research, but that's what you would need. And then if you're new to formulating or you're just starting out, Another set of questions I got this week was, make sure I'm not missing anyone's question. Another set of questions I got was, hey, can you tell me, if I have a video, I'll get a question underneath it, like, hey, can you tell me how much to use of this ingredient? It's not an ingredient that I used in that video. Let's just say I have a maybe turmeric body wash, and someone says, hey, I want to use maybe a different surfactant or something else. They'll tell me, hey, how much can I use of this? And the thing is, I never really suggest usage rates, because I always say, wherever you buy from, as long as you're not buying maybe from Amazon, wherever you're buying from, the good suppliers will have the formulation guideline, they will have the usage rate, how much to use. So I always say start from there. So if you're new to formulating, use this, I say the same resources. Humblebee and Me, she's a Canadian formulator. Humblebee and Me, Tara Lee, those are the most popular ones as far as like in-depth formulating. I would say just go to Google, type Humblebee and Me, and it's going to pull up a long list of her, it's like an encyclopedia of everything she's talked about. Hi, Anna. So that encyclopedia is so detailed. So maybe you're looking for an ingredient, maybe, let's just say, what ingredient can I think of? Let's just say, what? Panthenol. Let's just say panthenol. You're looking for an ingredient, panthenol. If you type panthenol in her encyclopedia, it comes up with a huge page with what panthenol is, what it does, suppliers that carry panthenol, what it's used for, suggested usage rates, and she even has formulas. So these are free resources that I tell people, you don't have to pay for a class. I don't ever push my classes on people or go buy my course. No, use the free resources that are available online. Start out with that. But the thing I've noticed is many people don't even want to take advantage of the free stuff. They just want to come to you and ask you a question. I have one person that's asked me like 15 questions within a span of a week. And the reason I know is because the same name keeps popping up. I'm thinking, I don't just sit on my laptop all day long just answering questions. Like, all these free resources are there. Humblebee and Me, I'm on her Patreon, but the reality is, I just support her Patreon because she's provided so much information for free for the general public to use. And $5 a month to support her Patreon to me is absolutely nothing. But check out her stuff. It's just Humblebee and Me. It's already there. Humblebee and Me. Just Google, put that in your Google, and it's going to pull up her page. It's like a blog. So once you go into her blog, you see a section, I think in the header page, where it has encyclopedia or search bar. You can type any. I just did it one day. I was like, let me see what she has there. And I was like, wow, she has years and years of free content. And I was just like, hey, I'm just going to go support your Patreon just for this encyclopedia. It's so much stuff on there. So use that resource. Tara Lee, she has a beginner series, formulating beginner series. She has so much stuff, Tara Lee. She has a Patreon, she has a lot of free stuff she shared on YouTube, but her Patreon has a lot of free, well, not free, it's only Patreon access. So if you pay for her Patreon, you can access that content. So I always say start off there, because if you know, you cannot formulate properly without understanding ingredients. There are many ingredients I've never formulated with, but I never stress out when I decide, hey, let me formulate, I want to learn about or use this ingredient or test it out. I'm never stressed out. I do my research. I always look at dermatology blogs. I look at Healthline. I read the least number of articles I'll read is like 5 or 6, because every dermatologist has their own opinion, and I'll see what the general consensus is. Then I'll form my own opinion, and then I'll do my own additional research. I'm like, okay, let me put something together. And then I'll Google, most of the suppliers I use, they usually have the ingredients. And then you just, because I think a lot of times that's the problem people have, because you're not really understanding the ingredient, but you just want to use it, which there's nothing wrong with it, but you want to use it correctly. And the only way to do that is through understanding the usage rates for that ingredient. Yeah, Okafor Evelyn said, oh yes, I know about them and follow them. Very awesome content. Exactly. And it's free. The content that's more advanced, I won't say more advanced, but she has to save something for her Patreon. So that is not available for the general public unless you follow her on Patreon. Yeah, Jessica said, I follow Humblebee, love her videos. Exactly. I never knew she had that encyclopedia. Like, I think I was doing some research on essential oils and this huge blog came up and it was her name. And I said, hey, I know this lady. I follow her on YouTube. And then I saw the whole thing and I was like, whoa. So I ended up joining her Patreon. So that's that. And then what else? I'm looking at my notes. Also, a bunch of questions I got were, I think there was a video I did with kojic acid. It was a kojic acid moisturizer. I'm trying to think. Kojic acid moisturizer, and I think it was a kojic acid body butter. So, kojic acid is helpful for hyperpigmentation. But there are two varieties of kojic acid. So I think the one most people use is the one that's not stable. And if anyone has used it, just correct me. But that seems to be when I get a lot of questions, it's always about, oh, you're using kojic acid wrong. Oh, you're destroying the kojic acid. I'm like, okay. In the video, I always say what type I'm using. But if you've never used kojic acid, active ingredients, kojic acid has two forms. Kojic acid has the water-soluble one, which is the most common one, and that's the one that's not very stable. That's the one that discolors. And then you have the kojic acid dipalmitate. So you have your kojic acid, and you also have the kojic acid. I'm trying to type. So those are the two forms I know. So they are used differently. So when I decided to work with kojic acid, I didn't want to stress myself trying to use the one that wasn't stable. So I ended up just using kojic acid dipalmitate. So because I've gotten more questions about kojic acid for some reason, and that's actually an older video. But just look at if you're new, or maybe you just started watching my videos, I usually put the ingredients in the description box. I always put everything I use specifically. So I'm not really sure. But kojic acid dipalmitate is more stable. So it's a derivative of kojic acid. So obviously it's not like 100% natural. It's synthetically derived or manipulated. But it's more stable. It doesn't discolor, but it's oil soluble. So if you're working with anything that's oil soluble, you have to add it in your oil phase. So I don't know if anyone had a question about that, but I've gotten several questions in my emails and under the comments. If anyone has any question, just post it underneath though. And sorry if I'm sniffing, I have a stuffy nose. But yeah, definitely check out those free resources for sure. And I'm not a fan of, I used to suggest Facebook groups, but honestly, some of Facebook groups really annoy me. So I always just suggest, Terali's blog, Terali's Patreon, because you have years of Patreon exclusive videos that you can access if you just join. What else? So back to videos. Hang on, I'm just checking off as I go. So one thing I noticed, so for those that make products, or if you, sorry, I think I missed a question. Hi, Anna said, are you still teaching online classes? I don't teach them live anymore. I think I talked about it in my last live, how traumatized I was. I had a horrible experience and that really turned me all the way off. So I have my course, the two online classes I offer are they're pre-recorded. And then you have the recording, but it's not a live class. Yeah. So if anyone makes a product, like if you make skincare, I don't know, just put in the chat. If you I know someone, I can't remember your name. You said that you make body butters. Let me go back up. Is it that I can't see? With my glasses. Okay, that was Miss Vaughn. You said you make your own body butter. Does anyone make anything else aside from body butters? But for anyone wanting to learn, there's really no shortcut. Trust me, I've made tons of mistakes. I bought ingredients I really didn't need. But if you're wanting to make your own skincare, I would say don't just go buy a whole bunch of stuff. Whatever you're buying, if you're not sure, always start with the smallest amount because you're going to save yourself a lot of headache. Definitely start small. I was buying, no. And then you end up not using half of the preservatives. I bought a bunch of preservatives. I think now I'm just down to maybe 3 that I use. So if you're wanting to start and just take it serious, it's constant learning. It's not something you're going to learn in 1 month or by taking one class. It's a lot of studying. It's a lot of failed batches. I think I had my first failed batch. I think, what was I making? I think, was it really a fail? I think it was a cream. And I was like, how did my cream fail? There was like a weird, very light separation, but it was, yeah. So you learn and then you adjust your formula, you tweak it, then you know, that's why you have to do your batch testing, but start small. But I would say when I started making skincare, I started out with only body butter and, what did I start? Body butter, and I think I started off with a simple foaming face wash. Those are the 2 things I started my business with. I think for the first maybe 6 months. I think 6 months. 6 months. I was maybe almost a year. I started off my body butter, and my body butters were not even that great. To me, I felt they were amazing. But now when I look back, I look at my 2020 body butter pictures and I'm like, goodness, why didn't anyone tell me how ugly those body butters were? And actually people bought them. But you only get better with, you know, practicing, doing stuff. I mean, there's so many things I make and I'm just so chilled when making them because you know what the outcome is going to be most of the time. What else? Okay, so one last thing. So because I was getting a lot of questions on some of the videos specifically the videos with actives, which is like my vitamin C videos, my kojic acid videos. What else? I think those are the 2, kojic acid, vitamin C. I think those are the only 2 I've shared. And I think I had one with AHAs. I think that was lactic acid and I think malic acid. I'm not sure. I was getting so many more questions so I'm not sure. So I think I'm debating because I got the idea from being in Tarali's Patreon because if you're not sure how Patreon works, Patreon is basically a creator creates like you're on the platform where you pay every month to access the content. So Tarali is she's very popular on YouTube. So I'm in her Patreon. So she posts 2 videos that are exclusive to Patreon, her Patreon. So she doesn't share those videos on YouTube. So there was a voting thing we did where there's something she wanted to share. And she said, do you want me to share it on YouTube or do you want it to only be for us Patreon? And most people voted to only be on Patreon. Because the thing is, to do a formula where it's stable for the most part, and to share that in a video on YouTube, maybe most of my videos on YouTube average anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes. That takes so much time to do. I know it doesn't look that way. It's like, oh, just a lotion video. But you're not sharing something that's just like a crappy formula. Like it's something that's tested. The thing is, as if you're formulating skincare, there's only so much you can do. The ingredients are pretty much almost the same. Like if Tara wants to formulate a lotion with niacinamide, and I want to formulate a lotion with niacinamide, the only difference is maybe the oil she might use in the lotion or cream might be different from mine. Maybe the humectants or other additives, but it's still the same thing where you're making a lotion, the same process. It's an emulsion. So there's only so much you can do. So if somebody comes up with a formula that's, a decent formula that's stable and, it helps when you're putting that information out there on YouTube because you're trying to share that, right? And, be helpful. Thank you, I like what Mikini said, lots of trial and error. So so most people told her, okay, sell the formula, charge a fee, and then we'll access it on Patreon. And she was like, oh, I'm feeling guilty. And people were like, no, you shouldn't feel guilty. The thing is, Tara Lee has probably posted on YouTube for, I can't really say it's at least 4 years, because I've been watching Tara Lee since beginning of 2020. That's when I started watching Tara Lee. And I know she has videos from, I want to say 2018 or 2019, I could be wrong. The point is, because people tend to be so harsh on creators, like, oh, well, how dare you charge? But the reality is, it's not easy to come up with something stable. And we're just trying to encourage her, like, yeah, you can charge, if somebody wants to pay for it, fine. The reason I brought this up is, there's a lady, I think she's a European creator. I think her name is Whole Elise. Let me see. So when she started YouTube, of course, she shares all her things, they're all free. But she started working, Mikini said it. She shares all her things on YouTube pretty much free. But I think she did like a collaboration with this company called Good Formulations. So basically they charge you, so you can access if you want a formula, like maybe you want to make a shampoo or you want to make a serum, anti-aging serum. I think I know you, Wendeley. Did you order something from me? Hold on, I don't know if you're the same Wendeley, because there's somebody with the same name. Is that you? There's somebody that ordered a bunch of things from me and left a really sweet review. I don't know if it's you. That would be a coincidence if it's the same. Oh, that's so sweet. I think, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Because your name was unique. I was like, is it Wendy or Wendeley? That's why I remembered your name. Some names kind of stand out when you're packing orders. I'm like, Wendeley, that's an interesting name. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think people... Oh, thank you. Yeah, you left such a sweet review on, I think, one of the body butters. That was so sweet. So anyway, so I was just telling her that I was saying on Tara Lee, so people were saying you're charged. Because it's just like now, okay, there was something I shared on my Patreon. I shared the niacinamide lotion. And then I also have a vitamin C face moisturizer that I've tested since December? Yeah, since early December. I have an exfoliating body wash I've been testing since early December. So before I post those videos, this is something that I've tested since December. Then I share that on YouTube. And then, sometimes you share like a 7-8 minute video. People don't realize that, oh, wow, there's a lot that goes into making this formula that, hey, if you make this 8 out of 10 times, if you use the same ingredients, you're going to have the same outcome. Whereas if you go to a website called like Good Formulations, the cheapest formula I saw there was $49, and that was for a face serum that I can make in my sleep. But because I've made so many face serums, I've made vitamin C serums, I've made several serums on here, and people sometimes don't really realize what goes into making these things. So don't be shocked when you see some changes. But I'm always going to post the free stuff. But I'm thinking now when I do more complex formulas, like my vitamin C face moisturizer, I'm debating. I was like, okay, maybe I'll only post it on Patreon, my Patreon. And I might have a section, because I've gotten several emails from people that say, oh, do you sell your formula? Like some of the ones when I do like my TikToks, not like shorts, what do you call them? Instagram, I don't know, I post everywhere. And they'll ask me, oh, do you have this for sale? You know, I'm like, no, I'm not selling this. I mean, I'm probably going to put some of my body butter formulas for sale, because I have some really good ones I've not shared on YouTube. Some really good ones. So I might put those for sale. There's just going to be a section on my website that just says formulas for those interested. But I'm not going to post I'm not going to put all my heart and like blood, sweat and tears. I just post it on YouTube. I do try to post like as much as I can for, you know, obviously. But the way it is now, people, like I said, I've had people that tell me, hey, I used your formula to make this hair mist for my business. So I'm having people that are taking these formulas. And the reality is, for my business, everything that I sell on my website, this is stuff I've created for myself through blood, sweat and tears, like testing, failed batches. I never just went on a website and just took the formula and took it for my business. Kudos if that's what, you know, works for you. But I think one should not be judged for wanting to, you know, make some money, because first of all, these ingredients are not cheap. Thank you, Mikini. Mikini said, nothing wrong with charging for formulations. I love your free videos, but would absolutely pay for a base formulation. Exactly, because I always tweak them. Yes, because you can tweak them to, you know, to your liking. Exactly. Because the base formula never really changes. Hi, Christy. I almost didn't realize it was you till I saw feed the video. Hi. Welcome. And I said, if I buy the video for beginners, usually access is at least a year. I don't yank. I've had people that paid for the course. I just switched over in September last year, so I've not been on for a year. But yeah, you have the access. There's no pressure to like, it's not like a 30-day thing. You have access for at least a year. That's the guarantee. I was like, who's Feed the Beauty? And I saw your profile picture. I was like, that's Christy. Christy, thank you for your lovely email. I was so touched. I was so, you know how they say when you're hustling, I was trying to get that Valentine's Day coin. I was posting, and then when the orders came in, I was like, dang, now I have to do the work. You know? Yeah, you do all that stuff to promote, and then you forget that, okay, I'm the only one. I don't have an assistant. I'm the one making the products, packaging, shipping. Then you also have to do content. So I was so touched when you sent me that email. I was like, oh, yeah. So I took a little break from YouTube. I think it's been at least 3 weeks. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all that I have. I think that's everything I wanted to cover. Yeah, I was just like, but yeah, if anyone, like I said, please check Swiftcraft Monkey's blog. That blog is so good. And she also has many ebooks, but I bought the one on preservatives. That's the one yes. Christy said, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. You guys are always so sweet here in the live chat. I wonder who the people that always send the mean comments, where they are. They never join the live. Have you know? They never join the live chat. They only comment. So how is everybody doing? What are you guys working on? Is everybody a business owner? I'm trying to see who's on here. Mikini said only good vibes. You know, there's this famous, guys, I don't know why my allergies always be flaring up. There's this famous, TikToker. I think her name is, oh gosh, I'm horrible with remembering names. Nabella, maybe? Oh gosh, she's mixed though. I don't know, maybe like an Indian mix, I don't know, but she's mixed. And she has her page is something like Pockets of Peace. Oh my gosh, anytime she pops up on I follow her, but anytime her content pops up, It's just this really peaceful vibe. She had like fertility issues for years and she just had a baby last year. She's pregnant again. But people are so mean. Someone commented, well, why is your house so boring? Why is it only white? Oh, you look like a toad. Like, they were so mean. But I love how her energy is. She's so positive. You know, she is so positive. But it's worrisome the way social media is becoming. There's so many nasty people on there, honestly. Anna said, I just started with a hair growth oil. Awesome. Did you use did you use herbs, or was it just a plain with just oils and maybe, did you do like a herbal infusion? Anna said she just started with hair growth oil. Yeah. I think, I think some of my early DIYs, even on YouTube, I used to do a lot of herbal infusions, well, for myself, because my scalp psoriasis was so bad and I was trying to find a solution. Trust me, I still have bad days, but I think now my flare-ups are diet related, like what I'm eating. Because when my diet was really clean, like I was eating a lot of like vegetables, fruits, drinking a lot of water, I wasn't having a lot of flare-ups with my scalp psoriasis. But the hair growth oil, I'm always a fan of a good hair growth oil. Yeah, it's definitely good. So do you have a business, or is it just, it seems like most people, I don't really know who like whenever I have this live, because a lot of the questions I'm getting are from people I've never like seen in the comments previously. Like I know Christy and I think I've seen Anna before. This live I'm not really seeing a lot of familiar names on this live. Maybe, who else? You know how sometimes you see a name and you just don't know because you've seen that name multiple times. So I think that's what's happening on my YouTube right now, because a lot of people either subscribe and maybe don't turn on notifications. So when I post, those people typically don't know that I posted, because most videos I see, I don't even recognize, they're not from my subscription. Josephine, hi. What is your opinion on using Arabic gum powder or moringa powder as a substitute for arrowroot powder and body butter? I definitely would not use moringa powder because you're going to have those little grainy bits. You're going to have those, it's like a little grainy throughout your body butter. I have never heard of Arabic gum powder, so I can't speak on that. But I know for moringa powder, the one time I made a moringa hair butter, but this was just for myself at home. This was maybe when I first started making hair butters. I used the moringa powder straight into the body butter, and it had those little residue grainy stuff, so I didn't like that. Yeah, arrowroot, the only substitutes I would recommend would be either cornstarch. Cornstarch is similar to the feel of arrowroot. I have a video on that on YouTube. Cornstarch and I think tapioca. Tapioca, I can't even spell tapioca flour. Those are the two things because they're very fine. Sometimes just because a powder feels very fine and smooth doesn't mean it would translate well in the body butter. You're welcome. The reason I mentioned this is somebody had asked me about a sea moss. Oh gosh, I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was on my Patreon. I honestly don't remember. But the question was, oh, how do you blend this? Can you just use the sea moss powder straight into the body butter? I've tried using the sea moss powder into the body butter. You're going to be left with that weird grainy. Like when you rub it, the body butter on your skin, it's not very noticeable, but I guess because I'm very particular, I can feel that little tiny grainy thing. And I don't like that in my body butter. So most times if you're trying to do Mikini said I use a CMOS gel in a body butter, not the powder. Very, very true. Because I'm all about feel. I don't want to be feeling like sandy, like a little sandy feeling on my skin. Yeah. You use a CMOS gel. That's interesting. I'm assuming you use a preservative, or probably like an emulsifying wax. Good. Awesome. Yeah. It's always interesting. Oh, okay, perfect. I thought it was like like the regular whipped body, but yeah, it's an emulsified one, yeah. And you have a good shelf life using the fresh CMOS gel? That's interesting. Oh, okay. Feed the Beauty said your African black soap reminded me of the black soap from the because it was from the motherland. It came straight from the motherland. Yeah. And oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I think we all help each other. See, Feed the Beauty, your name is throwing me off. I'm used to Christy. So Feed the Beauty, she has this amazing website with, like, if you're looking for like luxury skincare, that's just like really good skincare, check out her website. Like, it's so good. I think we all can. Are you laughing? We all can. Yeah, I think one of the things I said I was going to do was I'm going to like support small owned businesses and just buy something from, well, not a lot of people, maybe like 2 or 3. Because everyone always takes a chance on your own business. So it's nice to be supportive. Yeah, I was so passionate about black soap. That's really what launched my YouTube channel. I was so obsessed with black soap. You're welcome. In fact, I was living and breathing black soap. If you look at my early videos from 2020, 2021, I was like, black soap, black soap. And now I'm just like, I only use it for my shampoo. I don't really use black soap as much on my face, but I love it when I do. So, yeah, I was obsessed with black soap. I was living and breathing black soap. That really is the only shampoo that has been able to, like, if I'm really flare-ups, that really helps. And then I actually like this shampoo. I tried this shampoo for the first time. Well, I've been using it for the last, I don't know, maybe 2 months. Is it Miel? Oh gosh, Miel something. They had the controversy thing with their oil. Yeah, I've been using that shampoo. Rosemary and peppermint. Rosemary and mint is very good. Yeah, I mean, Feed the Beauty, she asked, Mikini, how do you preserve the moisture? She said she uses it for her personal use. I think one thing I saw on Instagram the other day, like 2 days ago, I'm trying to read this. Mikini said, when I first had real Ghanaian black soap in Ghana back in 2000, and I was obsessed and could barely find it. Oh, now you'll find black soap everywhere. The good and the bad. Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely check. I have some body butter videos on YouTube. Definitely check those. I show some of the. I have some body butter videos. I don't really show like piping and stuff because I'm just like, nah. A lot of those are for like personal use. So I don't really show like, how to pipe the body butters and stuff. Yeah, so I saw this video on Instagram. So this was fresh aloe vera gel. So maybe Christy, So let me just point something out. When you use things like a lot of fresh ingredients, like the aloe vera gel. People always ask me, well, I want to make aloe vera gel. How can I preserve it long term? I never use fresh aloe vera gel for stuff I want to use long term. I'm going to either use the juice that is preserved or the extract, which is also, preserved. So I'm never going to use fresh aloe vera gel for something I want to keep long term, because it's just hard to preserve. And people always say, well, I looked at it and there was no visible sign of what's the word? There was no visible sign of anything growing. You cannot visualize bacteria. You cannot visualize bacteria. You can only visualize mold with your eye. You may not even see, because I think that's one thing that a lot of people always say, oh, I made this and it's still holding up a year later. Yeah, it may not have grown mold, but that doesn't mean it's, mold is always the visible sign that a product is not, adequately preserved, like the preservative didn't hold up. But after I did my microbial testing a few times, I was like, wow, you can never just look at a product and just say, I sent several products. And out of maybe the ones I sent, there was one that really freaked me out. I was like, what? And the lady said, yes. And she explained, I was like, okay, wow. You cannot look at that. Yeah. So I always save myself the hassle, and I always tell people, if you're going to use, I think everyone is always so hung up about, oh, this has to be natural, natural, natural. But it has to be what's the safest thing for your skin that's well preserved. Sea moss has I believe there's an extract form of it, which is preserved. I've seen that, I think, in 2 suppliers. So they extract the sea moss, they have their own way of doing it, but they preserve it. So that's more stable for formulations. But since Mikini, you're just using it for yourself, I would say make sure you're using a good preservative. But fresh sea moss gel, it doesn't have a long shelf life. And I did see that video on Instagram. I was trying to say where this, she has a big Instagram following. She has a pretty big business. She made an aloe vera hair butter. She extracted the fresh aloe vera gel. From what I could see in the video, she used that she put the fresh aloe vera gel into her melted shea butter and oils, and then froze it. I guess the aloe vera gel was like her glycerin. I don't know. But this was the DIY at home. She's like, oh, you can do this DIY at home if you can't afford my hair butter. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a lot of crazy things out there. I would never do that. Recommended. Yeah, Optifen Plus should be okay. Wait, Optifen Plus for, emulsified, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Optifen, most people always hung up about the phenoxyethanol. People always say phenoxyethanol, oh my gosh, it's gonna kill you. Because Optifen is part of one of the inky is the phenoxyethanol, and I think is it caprylyl glycol, I think. But phenoxyethanol, when anyone sees phenoxyethanol, they're like, ah, they don't even want to use that product. Yeah, fresh aloe vera is very hard to preserve. I would say the only thing I would risk using fresh aloe vera gel is in something like African black soap, because African black soap has a very high pH. That might be the only thing I'll say, okay, you can even try risking that because the pH is high. But anything else, I'm not going. But people don't, what the point of this ramble, I guess, is don't just look at a product and say, oh, it looks perfect, there's nothing growing. It doesn't mean there's no bacteria. I sent like 6 products, to give you put perspective. I sent like 6 products. Out of the 6, 1 had a bacterial count. And that's when I started rethinking my natural preservative blend. And she told me, that preservative is okay. It's not her favorite, but you have to tweak it. So I tweaked it and sent it a second time, and it was fine. And I actually ended up removing some of my, what I did was I removed my hydrosol. I had a hydrosol in that product. I removed the hydrosol. I removed one more thing. And then I adjusted the percentage of my preservative. I wanted to use a natural preservative, but I had to add something else to it. And this wasn't even with fresh ingredients. And even that cream, that was my sampler cream. That was something I had been stability testing. I think at that point I tested it for like, I want to say 60 days. And then I sent it to the lab. And then that was the only one out of 6 that had the count. Like it was a small count. She said, well, it's not bad, but I usually like to have a count of 0. So I had to resend it a second time. And this was just my testing. Can you imagine if I had sent that to someone? Like I sold that to someone. Because I looked at it, there's nothing, it looked exactly the same way. No separation, nothing. I have a video, okay, no, it's not on YouTube. But how you can stability test your lotions, emulsions, but I don't think I have, it's not on YouTube. McKinney said, well, phenoxyethanol on its own is not okay though. If you want to use it in combination. Usually the phenoxyethanol is in combination, right? With the, yeah. The thing is, phenoxyethanol is made up, there's so many preservatives. I think Euxil K, oh gosh, I think Euxil K703 has phenoxyethanol, is it dihydro? Oh gosh, I have a bunch of, but I think Euxil K703 has phenoxyethanol. You always want to look at the combination. So if you're someone that doesn't even want to hear about phenoxyethanol, then Optifen, you wouldn't want Optifen. Yeah, exactly, Christy. Yeah, showing combination. Yeah, but I think most preservatives, the phenoxyethanol combination tend to work pretty well. They tend to be pretty stable, but it has such a bad name with the natural people that don't want to use it. McKinney, what's the best all-round preservative that you recommend? I honestly don't have one at the moment, to be honest, because I've changed my mind so many times. But if you are to get something, I would say for sure get Optifen. I like Optifen, not Plus. I like Optifen because if you wanted to make like sugar scrubs, something with like oil-based products like your scrubs, but I don't think you can use it in a balm though. You can use it in a lip scrub if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you can use Optifen in a lip scrub. Don't quote me, but I would say Optifen for sure if you're just wanting a solid liquid Gemo Plus. Many people, there are so many negatives, but some people don't like it, some people do, but it's a very, very strong preservative. If I'm looking more of the natural route, I would say GeoGuard ECT. And then what else? Maybe Euxil. I like Euxil. Euxil PE, they're different ones. This would be, if you're researching preservatives, I would say research these ones and see if it works for you, if it's something you would consider. But I know Euxil PE 9010, a lot of brands I've probably researched like 20 companies. That's just something I do when I have time. I'll go look at their either emulsions or water-based products. A lot of brands use either the GeoGuard ECT or Euxil PE 9010. The Euxil PE 9010 is a blend of, I think, phenoxyethanol and ethyl glycerin. So I want to say 96% of the brands I looked at, maybe out of maybe 20 companies, were using that combination. So you're welcome. But anyways, guys, today has been a long day. I'm sleepy too. I'm always sleepy when I come on the live. I'm always sleepy. Sorry, Tina, I think I missed your question. Can you use a body butter on the face, although a different pH will be needed? How do you adjust the pH? For a regular body butter, like a whipped body butter, or an emulsion, like an emulsified one? Let me know, Tina. Are you talking about just a regular whipped body butter or like an emulsified one? I'm assuming you probably mean the emulsified one. Well, the regular one, whipped body butter, doesn't need a pH adjuster. The body butter, using it on your face, it depends on the ingredients. If you have in your body butter like cocoa butter or coconut oil, I would not suggest using that on your face. Those are like, they can clog your skin. So I've used the body butter on my face, but I formulated that body butter to really be a face butter. So the butters and oils I used were very, very low in the comedogenic scale. So they were not going to clog my skin. And I did that for about a year and I never had any breakout. So yes, you can use it on your face, but depending on your ingredients. And you don't need a pH because it's only oil based. But if you're doing an emulsion, like an emulsified body butter, it depends. You have to look at the most people don't usually, it depends. If you're not using any active ingredients or anything that is pH sensitive, you may not need to adjust the pH. It really depends on the ingredients you're using for an emulsified body butter. And then the emulsifying wax. Some emulsifying waxes will tell you, hey, they recommend the finished product to be between maybe 5 to 6 or 5 to 7. So you want to look at the emulsifying wax you're using, if it's pH dependent, and then if you're using active ingredients. But if you need to adjust the pH, you need if you need to adjust the pH, either raising or lowering the pH, you need to use, I have a video on YouTube showing how to raise and lower pH. It goes in depth. So adjusting the pH, you need either citric acid. I would say watch the video because it explains how to adjust the pH. Citric acid or sodium hydroxide. Those are the two most common things used to either lower the pH or raise the pH. But yeah, it's not something I can, yeah, that's how you would adjust the pH based on, you know, what ingredients you have and also if your finished product is pH sensitive. You're welcome. Christy, which preservative is she talking about? Oh, you mean because she used Optifem Plus? Or what? I'm not sure I'm following. Mikini, Christy said, Mikini, there are different preservatives. Make sure it covers positive, negative bacteria. Very good point. Fungi, mold. Yep. Yeah, the gram positive, negative. Mikini said, I recently made some hyaluronic acid gel. I wanted to make a face moisturizer with it. How much should I put in the formula? Depends. Hyaluronic acid gel. I mean, it's a humectant. Depends on how much you want. There's really not a set. I mean, I probably would. When you say hyaluronic acid gel, did you do like a, oh gosh. I'm trying to think of the word. I mean, it would just be like, it's not any, to me, it's not any different from using. Okay, so you have the liquid, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's not any different from, because it's a humectant. So if I don't usually give, I mean, I don't usually give like a set amount because it's, I don't want to say it's preference, but I'm not really sure what because I know the hyaluronic acid I use the ultra low molecular weight. So when I did mine, I just went along the guidelines for what their usage rate was. So I would say, I don't know what type of hyaluronic acid gel you have or liquid, but however you made it, I would say use based on the guideline because there are different levels of the hyaluronic acid. There's the high molecular weight, there's the low molecular weight, there's the ultra low molecular weight, which has a really low usage rate. I want to say, I think the one I have, I don't think it even goes up to maybe, I think 1% is probably the max. So whichever one you have, just go off of what the supplier guideline. Yeah, because there are different ones. I don't know. Yeah, there are different ones. So just go off of the usage rate for that. I don't know if that helps. So whatever the usage rate is, then you would just put that in your in your formula at that percent. My throat is so dry. I think it's just the grading. They have different grades of hyaluronic acid. So like the high molecular weight, I believe it's like a larger size. So it doesn't penetrate the skin as quickly as the low molecular weight, but it still does the same job of a humectant. Hyaluronic acid is a humectant. So it depends on the supplier. Some suppliers, what I noticed, a lot of suppliers may only carry like, the most common one is the high molecular weight. I think it's high molecular weight or low molecular weight. But I purchased from Lotion Crafter and they have all the different grade levels. I don't say grade levels, different grades. I don't know if that's the right one. Yeah, so the weight really is just how quickly, I believe, how quickly it's going to penetrate the skin. I opted to get the ultra low molecular weight one because it literally just, when you put it in your skin, it's just like, it's like it zaps in, if that's the right word, but it absorbs super fast. Nothing wrong with the high molecular weight. It just has a bigger, I'm trying to find the right word, but it's just a bigger size. Let's see. Tina White says, yeah. Tina White said, total newbie here. Okay, welcome, total newbie. Most preservatives give a range, example 0.5 to 2. When would I use 0.5 and when should I use up to 2%? So I always say with preservatives, if your formula doesn't have a lot of stuff, meaning a lot of maybe herbal extracts or herbs or a lot of things that are difficult to preserve, you can stay on the lower to mid level, like so 0.5 to maybe the halfway point at least. But if you have a formula that has a lot of extracts, maybe plant extracts and things like that, then you want to stay on to the higher end. I hope that makes sense. So it depends on your formula. There are just some ingredients that are hard to preserve. Christy pointed out like aloe vera gel is very, very hard to preserve. Can it be preserved? Yes. But a lot of the companies that sell I would say buy the cosmetic grade one. So it depends on your formula. So if your formula is a basic formula that doesn't have much like extracts and maybe herbs that are difficult to preserve, I never suggest using fresh ingredients for formulas unless it's for personal use. You're maybe going to use that up in a few days, store it in your fridge as well. So if you're not using a lot of those fresh things or extracts or things that are hard to preserve, then you can stay on the lower end to the mid. I always say start off at least at the halfway point. Halfway point is a safe range. And then if it's something that's hard to preserve, then use up to the max. Most times when I make my formulas, look at a lot of my formulas on YouTube. If you see me using Optifen, 9 out of 10 times I'm using Optifen at the max. Same thing with Liquid Germo Plus. Most times with the natural preservative I use, I tend to use it at the max. Yeah, just to not stress myself. The reason you have that range is they don't want you going below or above. So they don't want you doing a product, preserving it at 0.4. And they don't want you preserving at 2.5 if that's not the range they gave, because that you can end up over preserving or under preserving. So that's why you have that range. Yeah. Yeah, and there's so much I learned about preservative from the books. I don't know if anyone bought the book. It's not my book, but I suggested it the last time and 2 people posted in the comments that they got the book. So I don't know if anybody bought the Preservatives ebook that I suggested. It's so much, there's so much people don't realize about preservatives. Preservatives can affect even some of the surfactants, the cleansing agents you use. Even like your your thickeners, like your xanthan gum. There's so many things that preservatives go hand in hand with. So it's always good to have at least, I would say that those preservative ebooks, it's a lot of information. I actually had to go back and read my notes the other day. I was like, hold on, this preservative, okay, I forgot about this one. But I always link them in the description box. And I always link Institute of Personal Care's formulating book. It's also linked there as well. And what else? And there is a preservative video. If you're someone that doesn't want to read, there is a preservative video that I watched. I bought it from the studio that did my, well, the lady that did my microbial testing. She had a preservatives class. So she talked about her, I think it's an hour and a half. I can't remember. But if you're interested in checking any of those things out, I always leave it linked in the description box. Whenever I'm done with the live, it's going to be there. So check them out. I mean, they're really inexpensive. I know the preservative ebooks, I think when I bought mine, they were like $20 a piece. I don't know why she's charging that little. I wish I could email her and say, can you increase the price? I'm being funny, but it's so much information on preservatives. I think she probably made it that price because it's 2 books, because her average price is usually about $30 for her ebooks. So probably because it is a part 1 and 2, that's why she made it $20. If that was me sharing all that information, it would not be $20. Anyways, guys, I think I am done. Chrissy said making skincare products take all of the time. Oh my gosh, I know. Also reading. Do you know how many hours I spent yesterday trying to formulate? This was just me actually writing the formula. I'd been doing research and I was just like, okay, I need to take a break. And I think I did that. I felt like I did that all morning. I'll write the formula, cancel it, rewrite it, calculate. I was like, okay, now I have the base. This is like batch 1. This is just the first batch I'm making. Wait a few days, then make batch 2 to see. Actually, no, 1 is batch 3. It's for a body wash, and I've done 2 batches, and I didn't like the second batch. It was nice, but I wanted more lather, so I have to do a batch 3. This is just for 1 product. So it is exhausting. Oh, hi, Tina said, do you have any experience with Olivem 1000 or any natural emulsifying wax? Yes, I do. I think I have 2 have you watched any of my emulsified body butter videos? Tina, I have 2 detailed emulsified body butter videos. And I think, I don't know if I used Olivem in one. I know I used Ritamolse. Ritamolse SCG is natural and Olivem 1000 is natural. But I prefer Ritamolse SCG, to be honest. Olivem is nice. Olivem gives really lovely emulsions, but I don't know if I really have the patience. It's not bad. I like it too, but I prefer Ritamolse. Yeah, Olivem, yeah. I like Ritamolse, yeah, but they're both good. I think Olivem has that weird, to me, soaping effect. With Olivem, I get a lot more of the soaping effect. Ritamolse, not so much. Barely. Olivem will soap up unless you add like maybe dimethicone or something. You need to add some like either dimethicone usually helps. I haven't used dimethicone. I've used oh God, what have I used? I've used Ecosil. Dimethicone is just like they're silicones, so it helps with the overall feel. But Ecosil is more of the, yeah. Ecosil is the natural alternative to, is one of the options if you want to test out Ecosil instead of using dimethicone. Yeah, Olivem 1000, I can't. I love the, what you call it, the how it feels, like the texture, but I just can't deal with it. I think you can also add, what else? There's something else you can add apart, but I know they always say add like a dimethicone. Yeah. Yeah, I hate that soaping effect. That's why I had to stop using Olivem. I had to stop using Olivem for my face moisturizer. That was what I was using before. And then someone suggested I use Ritamolse. Well, I read about Ritamolse. Then I asked someone, I said, how is Ritamolse on for your products? And she said she preferred it to Olivem. Yeah, I don't have the patience. If I'm doing videos for YouTube, yeah, I have some Olivem 1000 I'm trying to finish up. But for what I sell, I don't use Olivem. But it creates very lovely emulsions. But it's nah, I don't have the patience. When I can do the product in half the time with less work. And there are actually other emulsifying waxes too. There are other emulsifying waxes too that you can use. What is this other one? Well, there's the Montanov ones you can use. Tina said, "There's nothing wrong. Don't panic, Tina. There's nothing wrong with Olivem. It's just you're just going to work if you don't want the soapy effect. But it's a very lovely emulsifying wax. I've made creams. I've made yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just you just have to be patient. If you were formulating for the first time, I would have suggested you just get a basic emulsifying wax NF, so that way you can get the. If you've never made a cream before, I would never suggest a newbie start with Olivem 1000. And I could be wrong. Christy, tell me. When I made my very first cream, I started off with basic emulsifying wax NF because I wanted to get that formulating down, like, okay, my process down. So once I got my process down for my cream, lotion, I was like, okay, let me start playing around with emulsifying waxes. Then I played around with Olivem and I was like, okay, not so bad, but the soaping was driving me crazy. And I went online like trying to find an answer for the soaping. But then I just switched to Ritamolse. So it's not bad. Read Humblebee's article. I think she has one. Humblebee and me, read her article on Olivem 1000. And I believe she has some formulas with Olivem 1000. So that could be your guideline. Aquapol, I'm not sure what that is. You said you also got Aquapol. Christy, do you know what Aquapol is? I don't know what it is. Guys, I'm going to be getting up soon because I want to take a nap. Well, not really a nap, but just lay down. It's been busy all day. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, Tina, I'm not sure what that is. Okay, I hope I answered everyone's questions. Hopefully. McKinney Shaw was asking a lot of questions in this live. McKinney, I'm going to send you my bill. Me and Christy will send you our bill we'll send our bill to you. Since you basically took over this live with your questions. Yeah, we're gonna bill you. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of questions, Tina. Yeah, me and Christy, we're gonna send you a bill. Yeah. I think it's always it's easiest to start with emulsifying wax NF. And actually, emulsifying wax NF makes beautiful emulsions. But if you're someone that's just like, oh, everything has to be natural, then you're not going to. Oh, so you missed the last live. So that's why you're asking. That I missed your last live. Oh, no, I'm just teasing you. I was thinking no one would log in. You never know who's going to log into the live. So it's always nice to chat because I didn't do the last live. I think it's been almost a month ago. So I was trying to do them twice a month, but I missed the last one. Yeah, I don't know what the Aquapol is. Yeah, I thought Christy you would know. Christy knows all the ingredients. Yeah, I don't know. Aquapol. She said that it was. And she said she got one pound is not too bad. Now, if you had bought 5 pounds, then you would have been really angry. Yeah. 5 pounds, yeah. You really hate yourself then, yeah. Yeah. If you're new, like if you're making products and you're testing out essential oils, fragrances, never ever buy the large size, especially when it's on sale. Because you're going to be thinking, yay, I'm getting a good deal. And the scent comes in and you're like, oh, this is trash. Buy the smallest size possible. When you're testing out your fragrances, your essential oils, trust, because, yeah. Oh, poly. Well, that wasn't even close to what you said before. I don't think I know poly. I don't know. Do you know that ingredient? I don't think I've heard of it. Child, it looks like it's an emulsion. Yeah, I haven't heard of it. Maybe one thing I'm working on doing is learning more about more emulsifying waxes, even though I probably have like 5 that I use. Okay, so polyalcohol is a natural vegetable derived emulsifier. But where did you even buy this from? I don't think I've. Oh, but the good thing is I guess it's EcoSet and Cosmos approved. Ah, well, Humblebee will be recommending stuff I've never heard of. To be honest, there's many things she uses. That's why I tell you guys, like, if I buy everything that is recommended, I'll probably have much more than I I try to, especially now with everything being I don't know, was it expensive? I don't think I've ever seen that emulsifying wax ever, like even where I buy from. That is so interesting. Yeah, I see her article on it now. I'm on Google. I went to her thing. Polyalcohol 2W. Natural liquid crystal. Liquid crystal emulsifying wax. Yeah, definitely test it out. I think that's the beauty of formulating. Okay, so the inky is polyglyceryl 2 stearate and glyceryl stearate and stearyl alcohol. I think even for Olivem, Christy, I don't know. Have you added the glyceryl stearate to your Olivem 1000 when you formulated with it to reduce the soaping? 8 ounces is $28. Really? Oh no, that's expensive. Oh goodness, now. If you're trying to sell, no, I couldn't use that wax. That's too expensive for me. Yeah, that's too expensive. From Formulator Sample Shop, that's interesting. I would have probably tried maybe buying the glyceryl stearate on its own, then using that in combination with the Olivem. That's what someone also suggested I do. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, you definitely want to start out simple. Right now, I wouldn't even care about the soaping effect. I would care about making sure the emulsion is stable, because I've used Olivem 1000 with the same exact formula I use with Ritamolse. I basically made 4 creams. 4 creams. 4 creams with 4 formulas. 2 of the formulas with Olivem, 2 with Ritamolse. My Ritamolse formulas were perfect after 30 days. My Olivem, slightly discolored and had slight separation. But it was the exact same formula, just that the emulsifying waxes were different. So that's just why I'm not a fan of Olivem. I mean, I made the formula again and it's fine, but I had to do too much. I had to do too much. Yeah. When we have the next live, just let us know how it goes. I'm sure it will be fine. Hi, Rhonda. Would glycol distillate work with black soap? Oh no, I've never. Glycol distillate work with black soap shampoo. I've never used it. I'm not even sure. Is it like an emulsifying wax of some sort? This is what I found out with black soap shampoo or using black soap. Black soap really doesn't like a lot of things to be done to it, because then I think it just kind of gets confused. This is that has been my experience, and I could be wrong, but just my experience with black soap. I'm not sure. Christy, what is the glycol distillate? Is it like a? It's probably like, yeah. But why are you trying to stabilize black soap? Black soap doesn't need much help stabilizing though. I made, I think my last black soap shampoo, I don't even think I used, I don't think I used an emulsifying wax. I could be wrong. And it's, how many months later, I looked on it the other day because I made a large batch. Still the same, but I used guar gum. So I don't know. I haven't used it, but I really wouldn't suggest. Just my experience with black soap. I used to use sunflower lecithin in my black soap and I stopped. I just didn't like the feel of it with sunflower lecithin. But I mean, you can test it out and see. I mean, I don't know it all. I've never used it though. But I find that with the black soaps now, any black soap I'm making, I find that just guar gum, or if I'm trying to maybe solubilize something into my black soap, maybe like an essential oil, then I'll use a solubilizer. But it's such a small percent in the formula. Yeah, Rhonda, you can try, but I'm really not sure what you're going to stabilize. If you're honest, are you planning on adding oils? If you're not planning on adding oils and things like that, you really don't need to do much. The guar gum is sufficient to thicken it. Yeah. Tina said, Tina, you're too funny. Tina said, that's probably my issue. I bought too many items in the beginning and you've only done one body butter so far. Yeah. Yeah, save your coins. Yeah. Yeah, you have to know which additive will be sufficient in a black soap. A lot of times we want to add all these things, but can the black soap really handle it? That's the thing. Thank you, Christy, for posting the inky name. Even though you wrote Nick, I know what you mean, the inky name. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't do. Depends on what additives you're using, but just my experience with using black soap, and I've made a lot of black soap, the less you do to it, the better your black soap turns out and the more stable. We're trying to add so much to black soap, and a lot of additives, there's only so many additives you can use in black soap because it has such a high pH. I saw somebody with a vitamin C black soap. How are you adding vitamin C to your black soap? There's nothing you can tell me. Tell me that vitamin C belongs in African black soap. I don't know how vitamin C belongs in African black soap, and maybe I'm wrong, but I know that vitamin C needs a lower pH, and so definitely play around with it. That's the fun of formulating, and I think I got to everyone's question. I'm tired, guys. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. I have a video that I'm trying to finish editing for Sunday. I'm not sure which one it will be. I had all this content I filmed, but I think I have like 6 videos. I really haven't, just when I think about editing the videos, I'm just like, geez. But I will have, I don't know, I'll have something. I'm not really sure what I'm going to have, because I mentioned in the live earlier on that most people watching my videos are actually not people, even in this live, honestly. I think, Christy, you watch the videos, but I think a lot of times I don't know, but we'll see. But anyways, ladies, everyone, I don't know if there's any males here, but you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I will see you in the next live. Take care.